Well, this is not what you want to see when you pull your transmission pan off your fresh build, but I mean, I kind of expected it. So this is friction material, most likely off of the 2/4 band, because it's not adjusted properly. It's over tight. That right there is a spring. I have no idea what that is off of, but it was in here, and yeah, as you can see, this is a nice stainless steel pan, and it's filthy dirty with debris. So the transmission does have to come out of the car, which makes me very disappointed, but I kind of knew it was coming. I was just really hoping that it wasn't going to need to come out. I was hoping I would find some clean fluid in here, could just change out the valve body, adjust the band clearance again, and go from there. But anyway, transmission's coming out. Here we go. Well, it's out. This is not my actual yoke. This is one that broke a while back, and I just use it to keep the fluid from dripping out the back. Anyway, it's out. It took me about 3.5 hours, which is better than I thought it was going to take. I took the starter out. I had to take the motor mount bolts out right down in there. Not sure if you can see that. Those bolts are out. I had to jack the engine up a little bit to get the motor mount bolts out. But because of the solid motor mounts, it doesn't tip back enough for me to get the bell housing bolts out. So I had to take the motor mount bolts out so it would tip far enough back. What else did I take off? Honestly, it wasn't too bad. I thought it'd be a lot worse getting it off. I had to take the exhaust off. Obviously, drive shafts over there. There's a cross member. In order to get it back up in, we're gonna have to take the torque arm, most likely. Take the torque arm off of the axle, install the cross member, and then reinstall the torque arm, which is a giant pain in the butt. But because this cross member has 6 bolts instead of 4, and because it's pretty tightly toleranced as far as the machining side to side goes, it's very difficult to get the cross member back up to the bolt holes where it needs to go, and get all the bolts to thread in nicely with the torque arm attached. And because this is on the highest setting here, it is nearly impossible to reach those nuts right there on top once this is installed. So if it was easier to do that, you could just unbolt this mount for the torque arm, throw it up in there, and then get the torque arm up there, bolt it back in. But it is almost impossible to get those nuts, and it is impossible to get like a ratchet on here. You have to have an Allen key, which you can't really get them tight enough with just an Allen key. So yeah, it's a big pain in the butt. We are going to switch to a tunnel mount torque arm at some point soon, so we won't have to deal with this for getting transmissions out. But that's what we're going to have to deal with when we go to put it back up in there. So yeah, too bad. I thought it'd be a little worse, but anyway, it's out. I showed you guys the carnage in the pan, and I've got a new band right over there. I've got TCI constant pressure valve body kit. Keep the instructions semi-clean. It's got some bits and pieces there. New separator plate and plate gasket on the other side of that, and TV boost valve block off. And there's the valve body. So this is a full manual, reverse pattern, full engine braking, maintains 4th gear lockup, all that stuff, valve body. So we're going to be putting that in, new band in, and then going to be attempting to set the band clearance correctly, because that is why we have to do all this, I'm pretty sure, because the band is not set correctly currently, and it burnt up. That's why there was all the burnt material in the pan, and the pieces of the band also in the pan. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Here we go. Alright, so we got the band out here, and as you can see, that's where the friction material in the pan came from. I found it in there, and there's that little locking stud that's underneath the valve body right there, and that goes in that hole and keeps it from rotating in there so that the apply pin can push on this part and clamp down around the band. Well, it wasn't on that pin anymore, which, I mean, I didn't expect to find that. I expected to find this, you know, and then obviously because it's so worn down on that side, I should probably put my phone or camera where I'm pointing. We got a little bit of scoring on the drum. I'm probably just gonna put a new band in it and see what happens. It should be just fine. So also, you can see where I had put too long of an apply pin in here, which is why all this happened. I tried with a couple different ones, but I ended up with one that was too long and not rounded. Didn't take a grinder to it and round it. I don't know if that'll focus on there or not, but let's see. Anyway, it marred up the band right there, and that's what made it apply on the backside more than on the front. And then, yeah, causes problems. So that's good. I do have a new band here from, it's an Alto band, Alto wideband. Got this from Monster Transmissions as well. So we're gonna go ahead and slide this in there. Get the pump back bolted on there, and then I'm gonna try putting the transmission on the engine stand there to swap out the valve body, because I think that'll be a lot easier than holding it in my lap here. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, so we got the new band in there. Had to take the pump off to get that out. Obviously I showed you that when it was off, but pump's back in, that's torqued down. Got to reuse the pump gasket because it didn't rip, thank goodness. And then I got the servo pin in there. I got the band clearance set, front and aft, fore and aft, back and forth. Clearance down, you can move a screwdriver down in there. They say about 1/8 of an inch is good, perfect. A little bit more is all right. 1/8 to like 3/16, something like that. So, and then I got the apply, what do they call that? The servo pin travel, in and out set as well. They call for about 50 thousandths, or give or take, and it's right there at like 52 thousandths. So that's all set. That should take care of our issues with 2 and 4 shift problems. I definitely had way too long of a pin in there. Let's see. This is the servo pin that was in there. It has an extension on there, and I ground it down quite a ways, but it was way too long, and so I took my servo out of that orange transmission there, which was a Sonic's Super Hold kit, and that one was a lot closer, so I had to ground that one on down as well, but it's right where it needs to be now. So that's all back in there. I swapped out the speedometer gear in the back because I was running a plastic gear electronic sensor. This is not the style sensor that originally came with this car. I don't know what style sensor this would come on. It has to have a wiring adapter, and it did not work like most of the time. Every now and again I'd be moving, like probably in reverse, I think was the only when it ever worked, and it'd read about 5 miles an hour when I was just creeping backwards. So I took this out and I put in the original to this transmission. This transmission is not the original to the car. Original to this transmission, electronic style magnet pickup speedometer, because I know that it will work with the dash. It will just be way off, so I'm gonna have to get a box, a Dakota Digital speedometer tuning box for that, so I can change the signal pulses to be where it needs to be. But anyway, so I got that on there. We're gonna go ahead and install the TCI valve body in here and get rid of the TV cable and TV cable bracket. So it's gonna eliminate the need for a TV cable, which is gonna be cool. Constant pressure, full manual, reverse shift pattern. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get after that now. All right, well, everything's back together now. We got the TCI valve body installed, and the wiring to maintain the 4th gear lockup is all in there. We're gonna go ahead and put that torque converter back on here in a second, but I wanted to show you my ICT billet block off for the TV cable because we no longer need that. And then, yeah, thought that's pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get this torque converter back in this thing and see if we can't get it up underneath the car here in a second. Come on now. Don't mind me. Let's see. Okay. See if we can't get this thing in here first try. We're all the way in there. I think we're all the way in now. Yep. Nice thing about these smaller converters is you can actually get your hands all the way in behind them and make sure that the pump is seated right up against the base of that. What do you call that? The base of the torque converter, but that shaft where it meets the pump stator in there. But yeah, you can feel it comes all the way up right there, so we won't have any issues with the pump not spinning when we get this installed, so that'll be nice. Alright, gonna go ahead and get this back underneath the car and hopefully get this thing back installed here pretty quick.